So coming off of the previous episode, we saw that Aki was sent to make a contract with the Future Devil. And in order to do that, the Future Devil asks him to stick his head inside of the opening in his stomach. And once he does this, he sees Aki's future and tells him that it's going to be the worst. And yes, this definitely means that Aki is going to die prematurely. I mean, we already kind of knew that because he used up most of his lifespan using the Cursed Devil's sword, which like reduced it to 2 years. So we know that he's at least going to die prematurely, but apparently he's going to have the worst death according to the Future Devil here. But that actually intrigues the Future Devil because the only stipulation of this contract is that he just wants to live inside of Aki's right eye. And this is basically because he wants to like see Aki die, essentially. He wants to see what this worst death is play out in real time. But in exchange, he's giving Aki the ability to see into the future, but he says for a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be said in the next episode, but I'm pretty sure in the manga it was stated that like he can see like 2 seconds into the future using the Future Devil's power, so that's pretty good. I mean, we see later on that it's really useful against the Ghost Devil, but we'll get to that. But we're cutting away from that and we're going to Denji and Power training with Kishibe. And basically some time has passed here and they've been training enough to impress Kishibe enough for them to not have to train every single day. Like Denji and Power have progressed so much that now they only have to train for like 1 day a week. So yeah, they've gotten much stronger than what they were before. So then we cut away from that and we see Kishibe having like drinks with Makima. So in this meeting, Kishibe basically says that the attack that went down against public safety, you know, with Katana Man and Sawatari, the girl who has a contract with Snake Devil, was pretty bad. Obviously, they killed many members of public safety, including Himeno. And Kishibe thinks that Makima kind of knew what was going to happen before it started. And he's like, you know, why didn't you stop it? This isn't the first time that someone assumed that Makima knew that that hit was going to happen for some reason. And it's also really interesting how Kishibe is talking to Makima in this sequence, because he's like, I don't care what kind of messed up stuff you have cooking or how many of the hunting dogs you want to get killed. You get a pass as long as you're serving mankind's interest, but only in that case. So it's like, why is he talking to her like this? It's a very demeaning, but also he finds her very sus. I mean, this is something that we've been talking about throughout all of these videos, you know, reviewing these episodes. But yeah, this just further cements it that even Kishibe is very suspicious of Makima. But then we cut over to Katana Man with like his group of Yakuza along with Sawatari. And they're basically saying that they're like ready for a counterattack from the public safety and that they do have a contingency in case they do wind up attacking them, because under them in like a basement or something, they still have the army of zombies that we saw in the first episode. Like his grandfather, the Yakuza boss who was controlling Denji, fell victim to the zombie devil and wound up becoming a zombie. But apparently all of these other zombies are made up of the deadbeats who couldn't pay their debts to the Yakuza. So somehow Katana Man is in possession of these zombies here. I mean, I thought that they were all killed in the first episode, but apparently there's more for some reason. So then we cut to Makima having this meeting with like this Yakuza boss guy, and he's willing to comply with her, basically giving her the information she needs to like track down Sawatari and the Katana Man. And he reveals that Sawatari is actually the one that hooked up everyone with deals involving the Gun Devil. And while Makima does need this information, she also asks the Yakuza boss for like information on other families, like other Yakuza groups other than his own. And of course, this guy doesn't want to do that because if he does, then he's snitching on them, which is basically going to cause war for sure. And Makima's like, oh, I guess you realize I wasn't asking, I was kind of demanding that you tell me. And she puts a bag of literal eyeballs on the table. These eyeballs belong to like various family members of, I guess, the people in this room. And this freaks out the Yakuza boss, of course. But she's like, you know, don't worry, I can put these eyeballs back into your family members, you know, if you comply with me. Like, I don't know, through some kind of special devil power or something. And one of the Yakuza underlings like grabs Makima and is about to punch her, but then she just looks at him and he starts to get a nosebleed and like falls over. So this is like another thing that Makima can do. Like before, we saw that she can like remotely make people explode by sacrificing another person after they say their name. But now she can just also look at you and you just bleed out of your nose and die. Like we're still under the assumption that this is a contract with a special devil that she has, but still there's just so many unknowns about Makima at this point. So after that, we cut to the special division and we see that they're getting ready to go after Katana Man and Sawatari. And they're all like meeting up outside, and Denji and Power are bragging about how much stronger they got and how excited Denji is to go after Katana Man again. And Aki's talking to Kishibe, like asking him, like, you know, what are we gonna do? You know, what's the plan? And Kishibe's like, there's no plan. The entire special division goes in. So that's it. That's their plan. So then Kishibe walks over to the other regular cops there, and he explains to them that Special Division 4 is comprised almost entirely of non-humans, and that he wants to give them the rundown because they're inevitably going to run into these individuals and they need to be prepared. First of all, we're seeing that the Shark Fiend is a part of this group as well. Like, this is one of the very few fiends that we've seen in the series, aside from like Power and that other insect fiend that we saw before. But this is the Shark Devil that inhabited somebody's body and became this. And also for a little bit of time, he can transform into like his Shark Devil form, which is pretty cool. And this guy seems to be really goofy, like similar to Power, but even more goofy than her. But that's not the only fiend that's in Division 4, because also there's the Violence Fiend. Like, this is the Violence Devil that took over somebody's body, but it's also said that normally becoming a fiend makes a devil weaker than they were. But with the Violence Devil's case, he's still seemingly just as powerful, and he's so dangerous, in fact, that they need to keep a mask on him that's like dispensing poison to keep him nerfed. Then we're introduced to the Spider Devil, not the Spider Fiend. Like, this is just what the Spider Devil looks like. It looks like a woman with like a split down her face, and she can stay in like this humanoid form, but then can also just transform into like this hybrid spider form where she just has a bunch of legs. And apparently she's pretty friendly too to humans, but can still be set off and kill you. After her, we're getting introduced to the Angel Devil. I know that's really weird, an angel devil, but I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. And considering the way that devil hierarchy works, like if the thing they're based off of is more of a popular fear, then that makes them stronger. And like angels aren't really a fear at all. So the angel devil here is kind of like an interesting spot. It's not like traditionally powerful where it's like physically strong and fast and all that stuff, I guess, but its power more so comes from like its wings. And also the fact that if you make physical contact with it, then you lose your lifespan. So that's like its big thing here. And also it's, I don't know, apparently just likes humans and isn't aggressive to them at all, and was, you know, subservient to the public safety. So then after taking out some of the zombies, we come up to Aki on one of the top floors looking for Sawatari and Katana Man, and he runs into the Yakuza underlings and they bleed from their noses and just die. This is definitely because of whatever Makima is doing. We actually see that she was able to do this remotely as well. I guess because of the information that she got from the Yakuza boss with the eyeballs and all that stuff. And Aki eventually makes his way to where Sawatari is. And somehow, using the Snake Devil, she's able to summon the Ghost Devil and like control it. It's not really explained here, but I guess because the Snake Devil ate the Ghost Devil, she now has control over it, because she's like, you know, Snake, release it. And then the Ghost Devil comes out and she's able to control it without seemingly making a contract with it. So I guess this is how the Snake Devil works then. But also we see her nose bleeding, and I guess this is because Makima figured out who Sawatari is. But Aki takes on the Ghost Devil and he's pretty successful against it, because it's also revealed in the sequence, you know, about the power-up that he got from the Future Devil, how he can see slightly into the future, so he can see the Ghost Devil's attacks coming and avoid them with his sword. But as the Future Devil also says, that's the only thing that he's getting. He's not getting like, you know, buff stats or anything, so he still is pretty vulnerable to the Ghost Devil, aside from just avoiding its attacks. And he winds up getting choked by it. And the episode ends with Sawatari telling the Ghost Devil to choke Aki to death. And that's where the episode ends. And it's like, is this it? Is this the worst death that the Future Devil saw Aki having? And it's like, I doubt it. I mean, yeah, that's pretty brutal death, but it's not exactly the worst. So I assume that this isn't how Aki is going to be taken out. But let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.